Enron employees are in Washington, D.C. today looking for justice. Good evening and welcome to NewsCenter at 5:30. I'm Jim Vandy.
And I'm Nicole Samuelson. The employees are hoping to attend congressional hearings on Capitol Hill and hear their former chairman, Kenneth Lay, explain what caused the collapse of Enron. So far, that hasn't happened, but as Elaine Quijano explains, it will happen soon. It's tonight's top story.
A scheduled appearance on Capitol Hill, lawmakers say they'll compel Kenneth Lay to testify to try to get some answers about the fall of Enron.
I believe that America needs to hear from Kenneth Lay.
Members of the Senate Commerce Committee say that since former Enron chief Kenneth Lay won't testify voluntarily, they'll force him to appear. The committee moved ahead with plans to subpoena Lay. They want to find out what he knew about the questionable partnerships and accounting practices that led to Enron's collapse. The Houston-based company unexpectedly filed for bankruptcy last December, costing investors and employees millions.
When you juxtaposed what has happened to the people at the bottom and the people at the top, it really makes you sick.
Lay was set to testify in Washington yesterday, but backed out at the last minute because of what his lawyer says was the, quote, prosecutorial tenor of some members of Congress. Meanwhile, former Enron employees say Lay needs to be held accountable for not paying closer attention to those questionable transactions, deals carried out by executives who worked for Lay. Today, the CEO of Arthur Andersen, Enron's former auditing firm, is testifying on Capitol Hill. And on Thursday, two former Enron executives are also set to appear before lawmakers. In Washington, I'm Elaine Quijano.
Senator John Breaux says he expects Lay will invoke the Fifth Amendment when called to testify. The head of the Arthur Andersen's accounting firm came in for some tough questioning on Capitol Hill today. Joseph Berardino outlined steps his company plans to take to reform its practice for lawmakers. He also rejected suggestions that Andersen is responsible for Enron's bankruptcy, as well as told the House panel that Enron went bankrupt because it made bad business decisions.
President Bush says that the U.S. is still under attack and we should take action in preparing for the worst. Bush spoke to a room full of doctors and other medical professionals at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center on Tuesday. Bush discussed on how his budget is increasing funding for bioterrorist intelligence so medical facilities can respond quickly to bioterrorist attacks.
For the worst. We'll provide funds to states to make sure they can distribute medicines swiftly. And we're also going to expand our bioterror intelligence service.
Earlier today, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld and Joint Chiefs Chairman Richard Myers appeared before the Senate. The military men were questioned about the war on terrorism and President Bush's budget proposal for bioterrorism. Rumsfeld says the money for defense is needed to keep America's military on the cutting edge.
Of course, we cannot transform the military in 1 year or even in a decade, nor would it be wise to do so. Rather, we intend to transform some relatively modest percentage of the force, turning it into the leading edge of change that will, over time, lead the rest of the force into the 21st century.
The president has set aside $379 billion for the military spending.
There's a good chance the economic stimulus bill President Bush says is crucial to boosting the economy will not get passed. Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle says he'll pull the bill from the Senate schedule tomorrow. He says neither Republicans nor Democrats have the 60 votes necessary to win approval of their competing measures. Daschle proposed a bare-bones package last month that focused on a few popular items, but Republicans sought to attach bigger tax cuts they said would spur growth. Well, tax cuts could cause Ball State University to lose thousands of education dollars. Indiana stands to lose more than $3 million in funding for education programs if Congress approves President Bush's 2003 budget proposal. Ball State was counting on $600,000 to go towards a technology education project. Industrial and technology training courses across the state were the main targets of the cuts. Bush wants to shift that spending to the Pell Grant program to pay tuition for low-income college students.
There's some late-breaking news concerning John Walker Lindh. Attorney General John Ashcroft says that there is now a 10-count indictment charging Lindh as a terrorist trained by al-Qaeda who conspired with the Taliban against his fellow citizens. The reason for this is because Lindh was charged in a criminal complaint with conspiring to kill Americans outside the United States, providing material to support two terrorist organizations, including Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda and in contributing goods and services to the Taliban.
California police are still looking for a little girl who disappeared from her home on Friday. San Diego police say they believe 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam was kidnapped. Her parents were on NBC's Today Show today pleading for their daughter's return.
3 children were killed in a house fire in Los Angeles today, despite efforts from a nearby television crew to save them. The crew from the CBS series The Guardian saw the blaze from their trailers and raced to the house, but they were not in time to save the children. A 4-year-old boy and 2 girls, ages 3 and 5, are trapped and killed within the blaze of their 2-story home. 3 adults were injured in the fire, yet they only suffered minor injuries. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Also in California today, a massive chain reaction car crash occurred. The pileup happened in heavy fog on Highway 99 in Central California. Authorities say 5 people are dead and dozens are hurt. At least 40 vehicles are tangled in the wreck, and the injured are being treated along a 5-mile stretch of road. 5 days and still no power for more than 56,000 people in Kansas. Lines remain down after falling under last week's icy winter storm. The governor has requested federal disaster assistance for winter storm damage in 35 counties in the state. There's no word on when power will be restored in the area. Well, fortunately, Michael, we're not experiencing any weather such as that.
No weather like that. We're getting little clouds moving in, but no precipitation associated with it. Stay tuned, and I'll let you know the complete details later in the show.
Thank you, Michael.
Well, coming up on NewsCenter Ball State, students are living in the dorms may no longer have to pay for the city's false fire alarms.
And find out the test on the state budget bill traveling through the legislature today. Stay tuned. Muncie City Council voted to release Ball State from paying for excessive false fire alarms. Before the amendment, any building, regardless of its size, would have to pay for it after its 3rd false alarm. The amendment gives larger buildings with more alarm devices breathing room by allowing for more false alarms. Without the amendment, Ball State paid $1,000 in fines last year.
The bill that will affect more Hoosiers than any other being debated this year slipped out of the Democrat-controlled Indiana House on Monday. House Bill 1004 raises sales, cigarette, and gambling taxes in order to cut property taxes, improve Indiana's business climate, and plug a hole in the state's budget. Senate Finance Chairman Lawrence M. Borst said that his bottom priority will be fixing the budget. Governor Frank O'Bannon said that the state has to raise cigarette and gambling taxes to head off a project deficit of $1.3 billion by July 2003.
Family and friends will have more say in death penalty cases under a bill passed by the Indiana House today. The bill allows a victim's family and friends to tell a court about the impact of a crime involving a possible death sentence. Also, flicking a lit cigarette out of a car window may eventually cost smokers $25 in Indiana. The House passed legislation today that could result in a $25 fine for people who throw burning materials out of moving vehicles. The bill now goes to the Senate, where it's being sponsored by Senators Mike Young and Timothy Lanane.
The Simon Property Group won't quote on it, but the Mounds Mall in Anderson appears to be up for sale. The Herald Bulletin obtained a letter saying that the offer was sent out by Chicago real estate company Insignia ESG Incorporated. The Anderson Mall has been owned by Simon since 1965.
South Bend police are releasing few details about a shooting that may involve an 11-year-old boy. Police are looking into reports that the boy fatally shot Tony Murray while Murray was inside the 11-year-old's home. Murray was pronounced dead last night at South Bend's Memorial Hospital. Williams says he can't give details yet on what may have led up to the shooting. A 13-year-old Hammond girl accused of shooting her father in the head will remain in the juvenile justice system for now. The girl is facing charges of attempted murder. Because she is under the age of 14, she can't be charged as an adult unless her father dies. She's accused of shooting her 40-year-old father, Tony Tan. He's in critical condition at St. Margaret Mercy Health Care Centers in Hammond.
Officials at Diamler-Chrysler plant in Indiana are trying to find out how bacteria got into the coolant system. 3 employees at the Kokomo plant suffered allergic reactions to the sudden bacteria. Company spokeswoman Michelle Tinson says that their condition is rare and that the company is still looking for the source of the problem. The situation is yet to cause changes in the work schedule.
Okay, well, here's a look at weather. Michael, you join us?
Yep, clouds are moving in, but how long will they stay around? I will let you know that right after the break. Good evening, everybody. Today, if we open up the almanac, we see today's high was 36 degrees. Today's low was 20, the normal, not too far off, 33 with a low of 17. The sunset is in about 20 minutes, 6:05. Sunrise tomorrow is at 7:45 a.m. Here's the highs around the state today. Up at South Bend, they hit 32, Lafayette 38, Evansville 35, Muncie and Fort Wayne both came in at 34 degrees. Current conditions right now, we have clear skies. Clouds are starting to move in. Temperature of 33, humidity of 42 with winds out of the west at 15 miles an hour. Here's the satellite, or the surface map today. We have a low pressure system down here causing all this rain down around eastern Texas and the Mississippi. High pressure dominating our area, so that's why we're having clear skies. But this system will push some clouds up in our area. We will not get any rain out of it, but it will push it up in our area. If we get the satellite image, or here's the actual radar image showing the precipitation down there. They have a couple severe thunderstorms down there. That's the yellow spots in there. But like I said, none of this will move up into our area. The satellite image shows the clouds starting to push up in our area, but like I said, they'll move in our area tonight, in tomorrow morning, but no precipitation will come with it. If we zoom in to see our area, you can see the clouds starting to form just south of Fort Wayne, up around Angola area. They may not get any cloud cover, but from Fort Wayne south will be cloud cover into the night or maybe into the tomorrow morning. Here's tomorrow's surface map. The low pressure will push off into the Atlantic Ocean. High pressure will dominate for the rest of the week in our area. There's a little low pressure system up here which could cause our next system. Right now it's looking like rain, maybe snow under the weekend. Here's the high temperatures for tomorrow. 40s in Indiana, same as down in Texas. It dips all the way down just north of Houston. Around the Houston area still stays 40 degrees. We have a little cold pocket in here, but that's not going to bother us. But 40, I have 43 for our high tomorrow. 6 to 10 day outlook. This will take us from Monday through Thursday of next week. It's calling for above average temperatures. That means the average temperature this time is around 33. So our temperatures next week may be around 40, a little above 40. So it's above average. Tonight we have clouds moving in, a low of 22 with wind west 15 to 20 miles an hour. Tomorrow morning, clouds will be breaking up. By noon, we should have some clear skies. Temperature early morning will be 25. Wind out of the west-southwest at 7 to 10 miles an hour. With that wind coming out of the southwest, we have a high tomorrow of 43, mostly sunny. Wind will be out of the southwest at 10. And here's our 3-day outlook. Thursday, we have a high of 45. Friday, a high of 50. Saturday, a high of 43. And Saturday, we have a chance of rain, but you see the low temperature is 29. That's below freezing, so we may get a little bit of snow late into Saturday night.
Maybe some possible chances for freezing rain, maybe?
Maybe when it's right around the 32 degrees, but the surface will be relatively warm, so it'll probably fall down as rain, and then it won't freeze on contact.
Okay, well, thank you, Michael.
Okay, Corey. Now, Ball State, they lose 2 games, and then they come out and they kill Eastern Michigan. What is going on with that team?
I don't know. It's a team of streaks. They got another game that I got tonight. They're at Northern Illinois. I'll have more on them and the women's basketball team when NewsCenter 43 returns. Last weekend, the Cardinals went into Saturday's game against Eastern Michigan with some concerns. Star guard P.D. Jackson was a game-time decision, playing due to injury, and the Cardinals were coming off of 2 straight conference losses by a total of 6 points. So what do the Cardinals do against Eastern? They blow them out. The Cardinals trailed at half, but behind P.D.'s 19 points and T. Smith's 30 points and 15 rebounds. Oh, by the way, he was named MAC West Player of the Week for that performance and his performance in the double overtime loss to Marshall. He had 26 points and 14 rebounds against them. The Cardinals scored 58 second-half points to crush the Eagles 90-56. The Cardinals are still in first place in the MAC West Division and will look to stay there tonight as they take on Northern Illinois Huskies in DeKalb. Ball State has won the last 3 meetings with Northern and 9 of the last 10. The game is set to tip off at 8 o'clock tonight from Chick Evans Fieldhouse. The game will be televised by the Ball State Sports Network. The new NCAA tournament bracket predictions are out and Ball State is dropping. Right now, ESPN has BSU as a 12th seed in the Midwest, playing at Washington, D.C. against Miami, Florida. Some other schools in the state, Butler is predicted to be an 11th seed against Oklahoma State. Kent State is picked to win the MAC and be seeded 11th, play Pittsburgh in the South region at Chicago. The Ball State women's basketball team is getting no love from the national press. A 16-4 record right now has the Lady Cardinals in first place in the MAC West Division. Their overall winning percentage is better than 11 of the top 25 ranked teams, but BSU is still getting no respect. The Lady Cardinals will look for another win to add to the streak of 6 games in a row tomorrow night when they host Eastern Michigan. The game is at 7 o'clock at Worthen Arena. After leading the Ball State women's basketball team to a school record 19 wins last year, former head coach Brenda Oldfield left the school for the big game. She took the head coaching position at the University of Minnesota last year. That team last year was 9-20, but this year, with most of the team back, Oldfield has the Golden Gophers ranked 22nd in the nation with a record of 17-4. We here at BSU would like to wish her good luck at Minnesota. The men's volleyball team will look to continue their winning ways tonight as they take on MIV conference foe Lewis. The Cardinals are 6-1 overall and 1-0 in the MIVA. The game is set to start at 7 o'clock at Worthen Arena. Lewis was picked as the preseason favorite to win the MIVA conference, but Ball State is the one with the better record and ranking. The Cardinals are ranked 9th in the national poll and 10th in another. Lewis is just behind the Cardinals in the polls, but have an overall record of 5-3. 3 years ago, Luke Recker left Indiana to transfer to Arizona. Then he left Arizona after he was involved in a crash that left his girlfriend paralyzed. He then transferred to Iowa. Tonight is his first time back in 3 years. He will return to Assembly Hall, this time as a member of the opposing team. Recker knows tonight is going to be rough. As he said, "I'm sure I will be booed the minute I step off the plane." The game is scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight. The game will be televised by ESPN. Major League Baseball has decided to hold off on contraction, at least for this season. Commissioner Bud Selig announced today that he will wait until next year to contract 2 teams in baseball. Those 2 teams are still thought to be the Minnesota Twins and the Montreal Expos. It has also been mentioned that the Expos could be moved from Montreal to another city to see how they would fare there. The city mentioned in the move has been Washington, D.C. And a few sports notes tonight. Another Vic is going to Virginia Tech. Michael Vick's younger brother, Marcus, a highly recruited player out of high school, he's going to follow in Michael's shoes. He's also a quarterback. Norv Turner is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Dolphins. This past season, he was at San Diego, left when Marty Schottenheimer was hired as the head coach. And Kmart wants out of its deal to sponsor the Daytona 500, saying it would be an unnecessary use of its money. As you know, Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy earlier this year, so it's kind of weird to be sponsoring an event like that. So
Yes, it is.
Well, let's just hope they win.
Yeah.
Like the Cardinals tonight. We need to win tonight.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Tonight's huge.
Okay, well, thank you, Corey. And
All right, we'll be back in a minute.
And Michael Haney-Wells joins us with a final look at weather tonight.
Clouds are going to be moving in tonight, but leaving the precipitation behind. Low of 22 with winds west 15 to 20 miles an hour. Tomorrow, clouds will be breaking up by noon. Temperature in the morning will be 25 with winds out of the west-southwest 7 to 10. Tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny with a high of 43, wind out of the southwest at 10. And your 3-day recap, Thursday, Friday, you got a little sun, 45 and 50. Saturday, a little bit of rain. Could switch over to snow depending on how soon the temperature drops with a high of 43.
Thanks, Mike. I'm really not looking forward to it. Well, fans began crowding the streets early this morning to watch the parade that welcomed home the New England Patriots. The fans endured the cold in Boston today while they were celebrating their team's first Super Bowl victory. The Patriots were the underdogs going into the game and came out beating the St. Louis Rams Sunday night 20-17 by a last-minute field goal kick.
Students in Portland, Oregon are putting on...
respect. No one has the right to damage your self-esteem.
No one has the right to physically threaten you.
No one has the right to make you feel worthless.
No one.
Students in Portland, Oregon are putting on this play to teach other students about bullying. The play is a challenge for students to become peacemakers. A nationwide survey says 1 out of 3 children are victims of bullying. We'll have this full story for you at 9:30. Also coming up tonight at 9:30, we'll have the latest on the war against terrorism. Also, Gordon from Sesame Street will be at the Student Center tonight. We'll have that story and more tonight at 9:30.
So were you a big fan of Sesame Street?
I was. I love Sesame Street. Oscar the Grouch was my favorite.
Oh yeah, I will be there tonight. Gordon, wasn't he the guy that sang with the 8? The talking 8? Okay, never mind.
I don't know about that.
I'm the young one here. I don't know.
Definitely something to look forward to, though.
I hope so.
Well, thanks for joining us for NewsCenter at 5:30. I'm Nicole Samuelson.
And I'm Jim Vandy. NewsCenter 43 is an official CNN student bureau. Be sure to tune in tonight at NewsCenter at 9:30.